5:02. We do have a quorum,
Okay,
so it's up to you. I mean, we can give it another minute if you want others to join.
let's call the meeting. Let's call the meeting to order.
All right, we're calling the meeting to order, 5:02 p.m. Reading of the OPMA statement on April 14th, 2023. Notice of this meeting was placed on the official Bellmawr Redevelopment Agency website and emailed to both the Carrier Post and Gloucester City News newspapers for publication. The official notice to Borough Clerk was emailed on April 14th, which included a request for posting of the notice to the official Borough Bellmawr website and bulletin board. All requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been met in compliance with the Sunshine Law. Brings us to the flag salute. The Pledge of Allegiance
To the
to the
flag.
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God,
One nation under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
liberty and justice for all. Amen.
All right, brings us to a roll call. Chairman Frank Philippek,
Here.
Vice Chair Ray Bider,
Here.
Commissioner James D'Angelo,
Here.
Commissioner Nick Kapados, Commissioner Tom Whitman,
Here.
Commissioner Neil Patel. He did say he may have an issue joining tonight, so Commissioner Jeff Simpson.
Here.
Josh Jagier, Executive Director. I am here. Mike McKenna.
Present.
Dennis McNulty.
Here.
Gotcha. Begin with our standard agenda for this evening. We'll begin with the reading of the minutes from March 21st, 2023.
I'm going to make a motion to accept the minutes.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, thank you, Jeff. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it. Communications, we did receive the redevelopers report today, which you received with your materials. Traffic engineers report that is quarterly, beginning or being that it is a new quarter, and he just submitted one in March. I'll expect it in May or June based on the content. Brings us to any commissioner reports. All right, hearing none, brings us to the executive director's report. Budget 2023, we received the approval or authorization back from the state to adopt right during the right after spring break week, which I think slowed things down. I don't know if there was a lot of people in the office that week. Audit 2021, I'm still working with Bowman. As I'd mentioned in another email, they experienced what a lot of people would term a tragedy in the form of a very young partner, one that oversaw our account, passing away in the last month. So they're working to regroup. We have our new partner lead, and this person has been there for a very, very long time. Her name's Jennifer Bertino, and I have a call set with her tomorrow to try to get things on track. So I'll have more of an update next meeting. Also, in terms with the audit, I know that the state had just released a report from the Division of Pensions and Benefits and Pensions that was tied into whether or not audits could be done, which backed up Bowman. And that was for 2021. It didn't get released until November or December. Well, my question to them is, are we going to encounter the same thing with audit 22? Because what I'd like to do is just roll right one after the other, get us right on track. And then, unlike in the municipality, we really need to do our budget, start submitting it to the state for approvals in the November, December timeframe, whereas the municipalities, that year, January, February. So looking to get that back on track with them. So I'll have a further update there. And then with the admins, continue to work within that system. And again, if you're not in there every day, it's definitely slow for somebody that's not in there every day. So I'm trying to get the check processing automated through that system where they just print right off of the POs, and then it eliminates any more manual labor, and plus it's better for the audit checks and everything else. So I'm going to work with them on that, and that's about it. That will lead me into May and June. Any questions for me before I turn it over to Mike? Mr. McKenna?
Thanks, Josh. Well, like Josh said, we got an updated redevelopers report today, and although it reports progress on a fair number of the usual points, there are even a fairer number of updates that I just want to bring to your attention. 7.5 on the second page, under the heading redevelopment process updates. The team is definitely getting near the end game on getting total agreement on even the finest points in the agreements of sale and the template for a site lease. In connection with that, there had been some prior feasibility studies that we had all understood to have addressed the issue of what can work here feasibly. We asked the redeveloper to update those. We'd like that. These studies are typically undertaken in large scale developments. I mean, of course, in the end, the market and our RDA will guide the selections of these choices. But as stakeholders, if they're going to have a study, as fellow stakeholders, we'd like to at least see it. We pick redevelopers because we're not in the business, but that doesn't mean we can't be and request a seat at the table, even in the early thinking stages. So we've done that. And they've agreed to produce it, and it's going to be coming soon. I have to say, though, that it is prudent to keep that. I'm not really sure yet that I want to circulate it at large, because once I do that, it's a public record. So anything we learn about the redevelopment strategies, we don't want to share that with our redevelopers competitors. So in this case, as fun as it would be to talk about exciting prospects, it's probably not good business. When we get to that, I'll have another chat with it, but I still think I'd like to see it. Our folks here would like to see it. It might not be necessarily something we want to all share with everybody. The second point is a little further down, where you see the paragraph that says the redeveloper has provided. All right, there's a change and an update to that in the last couple of days. It's on the same page, Josh.
Same page? All right, sorry.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. The pages aren't numbered, so I can't help you there. It's there he is, right at the top of the page. So we have long had a security bond of $1 million from the construction company, I guess the HG&K or whatever. Yeah, and it gets renewed, and I see it every year. I had sort of reviewed the prospect of including the redevelopers' obligations for funding within that bond, and we investigated that. We reviewed it just so we'd have some further security, and it's unable to be done because it truly is a performance bond. However, in lieu of that, the redeveloper has agreed to place into escrow a half of a year of administrative costs and half a year of the average professional escrows from the prior year. This half year escrow would be like a real estate escrow. It would not be touched for the ongoing expenses of the RDA, but rather would be security for 6 months. And of course, the real security is failure to fund equals a default, equals they're out, and we're now back in business looking for redevelopers. That's not going to happen, but we lawyers are, a paranoid bunch, and we like security on top of security. The third point is the bottom of the page has been briefly talked about that's the meeting with mayor and council. Just want to point out that is a manifestation of something we agreed on early on, as among council and the Bellmawr here, and that is that the sequence will always be council first. That's the primary lead agency here. We are a creation of them, and we'll always want to know first what council thinks before it comes to us. We're second in the sequence, then it would go to a planning board. So we are all partners in it, but it doesn't make any sense not to have a sequence with mayor and council as lead. To the next page, to that end, they appeared last Thursday before mayor and council. I wasn't there. I had another zoning hearing. And I'm not sure I even had a seat at that table because Mr. Long represents mayor and council, but I'm told it went well. I'm glad that they did that. They now would like, once they hear from mayor and council about any issues that need to be addressed further, they'd like to come see us, and that might be able to happen next month. We'll probably get something in the order of the same presentation, although some of our issues are not the same, since we will not be, strictly speaking, be involved in pilots and whatnot. There are other issues that we'll be more involved in, but they want to come in and see us. And I think the mayor said just before the meeting began, communication is good. Now, down the bottom of the same page, at the end of Green Acres, I did want to point out, I know some of you were present, that the Green Acres subdivision approval was granted last month. The resolution, I believe, memorializing it was adopted last night by the planning board. That process that begins the process of getting Green Acres overall approval for the diversions, for the resolution of issues, and for the development of the park. So that is a good thing, and it's something that I personally have been waiting to see as proof of the rubber hitting the road. If you'll go to the next section, it's sub E of engineering summary, and we're almost out of this. This is 6. I did just want to point out again under sub E that Mark Roth is conducting a design review for interim access. That design review will follow the same sequential process. In other words, the governing body first, and then us. And we both entities have engaged him as their professional traffic expert. But that's the process it'll follow. And then, of course, at any required moment, he may be called upon in front of the planning board for guidance there. Seventh and last point, and I'm trying to pick up the pace. I did confirm sub G. I have confirmed the subdivision is ongoing. I wanted to make sure that the process continues, and it has the momentum now. They have made their application before the board. In addition, I've seen the review letters. So there's no hostility, there's no resistance. I think principally that this Deptford's concerns are going to be to protect their mall. So they're going to be, and I know this personally from being in a meeting with the respective mayors, they're going to be very much hostile to development that endangers the health and welfare of their mall. But other than that, they see this as a win-win for them because we're doing all the work. And they may get some financial gains from it at a certain time. And that, I think, was part of the pitch to council that we're going to have to negotiate this. That's all I have, folks. Thanks for listening. I don't usually go on that long, but there was a fair number of new items.
All right. Any questions for Mike before we move into new business?
Good job, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, we'll begin. Both resolutions on the table tonight are roll calls, being that they're financial. We'll begin with final adoption of the operations budget for 2023. Again, this is it's the same budget that it was for the last 3 years. So any questions there before we vote?
Josh, could I ask a question? I know it's
Sure.
silly, but inflation being what it is, are these the identical numbers every year for 5 years?
Well, they have been, for because nothing's really moved all that much, but it's something that we should definitely look at given the economy and inflation and everything. And a lot of this too is always anticipated that insurance policy flowing through. So now that we have discovered that that will most likely be funded directly by the redeveloper and not pass through, is probably a line item that we could jettison. But again, that's something I'm going to have to talk with our accounting professionals
Yeah,
about.
it's always with expenses. If you wait 5 years to adjust, it seems too extreme.
Right.
But just ask them what they think about that, because it just occurred to me, it seems like we're seeing the same numbers every year, which is good. But by the same token, I know that there was some contingencies in some of that dough, particularly the cap maintenance. So I'd love to know what they think about that. And I don't know how the governing bodies usually do it, but I think it's a much more detailed process than our little budget here.
Right, yeah, like I said,
Thanks
I
for
have
that
a call
question.
with them tomorrow and then
Okay.
hope to get more information there.
All right, thanks.
All right, so that brings us to a resolution of the Bellmawr Redevelopment Agency, resolution number 04:025-23, approving adoption of the operations budget 2023. So we need a motion, a second, and then we'll do a roll call.
I make a motion that we accept it the way it is.
Thank you, Mr. Whitman.
A second.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson. Chairman Frank Philippek,
Yes.
Commissioner or Vice Chair Ray Bider,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo,
Yes.
Commissioner Whitman,
Yes.
Commissioner Simpson.
Yes.
All right, resolution passes. And then they'll bring us to our final resolution of the evening, resolution number 04:026-23, authorizing payment of outstanding bills. Same
Make a
process.
motion.
Thank you, Jeff. Is that you, Jeff?
Yeah. Yeah, make a motion, pay all bills.
All right. Just need a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bider. Brings us to a roll call. Chairman Frank Philippek,
Yes.
Vice Chair Ray Bider,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo,
Yes.
Commissioner Whitman,
Yes.
and Commissioner Simpson.
Yes.
All right, resolution passes. That's all the new business I have for this evening. Brings us to a public portion. Again, I do not see anybody on the line, but I'll give my customary 3 seconds just in case. All right, that'll close the public portion and bring us to an adjournment.
Make a motion, we adjourn the meeting, and thanks everybody for coming on.
All right, thank you, Chairman.
I
Just need a
second
second. I'm sorry, who was that?
Whitman.
Whitman. Thank you, Tom.
Yes.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any nays? Ayes have it. That'll conclude the meeting for this evening, and next scheduled meeting is for Tuesday, May 16th. All right,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Thanks a lot, everybody.
All right,
Aye,
thank
see
you,
everybody.
Josh, I'll follow up with Joey tomorrow for.
Yeah, no big deal, Ray. I mean, I just wanted to make sure nothing was
No,
falling through the
he-
cracks.
Said it was done, and
Okay.
so no problem.
All right, thank you.